How are the nerves?
Still there.
Mawubuka mina ne?
Still there. Maybe if you asked me this back in primary school.
Primary, not even high school nyana.
In primary school, you and your brother were the hottest thing.
We're still the
ever.
hottest thing. What do you mean?
You, your brother is Pa.
Obanus pa.
Simpiwe is Spambuli. Simpiwe
Oh,
is older brother.
Spanky.
Yes.
But Kamzamo.
Yes.
Spanky was alright.
Oh, yeah,
My brother was alright.
Damn. I actually even forgot that there was Umzamo. You guys are the choir guys that did Rappi and, light-skinned niggas were still a thing. And then
I'm not light-skinned, but sure, they were.
I mean, you're the person that also, I've accepted that you're very different in life and you see yourself very differently, and that's okay.
Sbahle.
Yes.
Welcome to the Penuel show.
Thank you.
I keep trying to think of how to make this space more comfortable because I'm a serious person myself.
Yeah.
But I need to make sure guests are comfortable so that they can, and not feel like they're in an interrogation, which I can do as well.
Which I noticed, which is why I was nervous. And I was kind of wait, so am I a guest because he sees me as serious too? Or is he trying to open a different avenue to the show? Because I'm not that serious.
I think the world needs to know you outside of Instagram because you're bumping on Instagram. When I started seeing amantombazane Newcastle on Instagram looking hot, I used to cringe because all of you guys felt like my younger sisters. I'm like, benzani manje? Ngathi ngaba DM susa leso sithombe leso. What the hell?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. For me, the thing is Instagram was just always a online album.
Uh-huh.
And I never saw it as I'm presenting something to the world or I'm showing something. It was just here's a space where I can put a bunch of pictures, and probably when I'm 10 years down the line and I've got kids, I'm going to be oh yeah, this is what I used to do. And oh yeah, this was here and that was there.
Are you honest to yourself?
Most of the time.
Do you think you're one of the hottest women from Newcastle?
Yes.
Yes, sis. Okay.
Not only Newcastle, if I'm honest.
Aye, boo.
I like to refer to myself as the creme de la creme. I don't think it gets better than me.
Aye, boo.
Yeah. Not only looks-wise, just full package-wise.
Let's take it a step back. Where you grew up, what you did after high school, and what you're doing now.
Grew up working. From a very young age. My mother grew up with strict parents, extremely strict parents, my mother especially. My mother had a catering company and we did a lot of events. So my life growing up, from school was, we don't watch TV from Monday to Thursday.
Are you serious?
Yes. We only watch TV from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But then the gag would be that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're busy with events because my mother didn't hire people to help us. So exactly. So she was just there's no way, we all working. So my weekends were putting up tents, carrying chairs, carrying tables. I can carry 25 chairs with my back. 25 stacked chairs.
Shout out to your old lady.
Right?
There's two families in Newcastle, Abakadonsi and Okbega.
Yes.
Who I know also abafana bakho nomelus no Pilane.
Yes.
Igame lamatende.
Yes.
Not amatenda. Amatende.
Amatende, yes. That's why amatende. Or Donsi would come, even from Uma.
Yeah.
If they have the bigger events and whatever. So Sasenza loco, and then we'd also even decorate the tents. So we come, we put up the tent, we put in the tables, we put in the chairs, and then we put the draping.
Who's we? You and your mom?
Me, my siblings. So it's my mom, my elder sister, second elder sister, my brother, then me. So it's just the five of us. After we're done doing the drapings and everything, we're cooking because we also did catering.
Okay.
So lots of work, sleepless nights. I think we'd probably finish putting drapings and stuff in a tent at perhaps 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And then you sleep for 2 hours and then you wake up and you go cook. And that was me 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 until matric.
Yes.
To be honest. So that's how I grew up. But it was nice when it was Christmas because Mom would give us a stack of money.
Really?
Yeah, she would pay us I guess, for the work of the year on Christmas, and she'd give us a stack, and I was always the one that went with my stack out, buy everyone in the house a gift, until she was like, "Yay, you'd rather save your money because everyone's got theirs too." So I think I just say that to say that my thought on money started at a very young age, and being very cautious about it and so on. That's how I grew up. My father was very well invested in my life. I don't feel like I had an absent father, regardless of the fact that he had other wives.
Other wives?
Other wives.
He was a polygamist?
Polygamist.
Yeah.
My father had 4 wives, my mother being the 3rd wife.
Kunzimalang.
Basho njalo baningi.
Siyabonga Jobe.
Basho njalo baningi. Yeah, he did it. He had 4 wives. I had a great relationship with my father. He taught me principle from a very young age. My father was the type to kutakutshela usamncane ukuthi inyoni yakhe izidleke bese iyazala izidleke ensomunye umuntu. Or I'm just remembering sayings that he used to love to say. The second one would always be indlovu ayihlulwa umbongo wayo. Yeah. So he was a very strict, principled person also. I remember in high school when I wanted a BlackBerry, I said, "Dad, I really want a BlackBerry." He was like, "Okay, give me 70% for your physics."
Hectic.
And I did. And I got my BlackBerry. But
solid.
that wasn't the only thing. I think even in primary, when there's a watch I wanted, he'd be like, "Okay, give me an average of this."
You need to earn what you get from him.
Yes. However, he was also very big on making me know that whatever you want, you come and ask me. And I may not be able to do it at that time, but I will make a plan for you. So
I like the sayings, and izaka. There's a term for Zulu sayings.
Yeah.
The first one being that a bird first builds its nest before it has children, which I know is something I think Joshua Maponga has said as well, that a man must fertilize the land before he fertilizes or impregnate the land before he impregnates a woman. And the second one being...
Before you carry on, I'm
sure.
Yeah, I really want you to take that top off.
What's the problem with the top?
It's like, yeah, rather just do it with the shirt.
Is it that bad?
Yeah.
I actually wanted to finish this piece and then address you.
Sorry, but like, I don't want us to go deep into the podcast while you...
Is it orange?
It's not orange.
It's brown.
So I know what it's going to look like on the thing though. Like, I don't think it's cool. It looks like, you know...
He's been wearing this thing.
Yeah. I know, but like, yo.
Okay.
I can't allow
No,
it.
it's fine.
I can't just be cool with it, you know what I mean?
Are you gonna edit this out or leave this?
What?
This conversation?
I think it should stay.
Yeah, like,
You wanna leave it?
I don't think it's fair for an audience member to be wondering, is it dirty capability?
No, this thing is big.
Yeah, I know it's being, but it doesn't have to stay on
Sorry,
It's
Sbahle.
okay.
We're dealing with toxic males here.
Wardrobe session.
I'm saying,
Dealing with the metrosexual.
I'm just saying, please, because look at the one underneath is a dope black. It's a solid.
I
No,
get
thank you.
that.
You know
I
what I
get
mean?
that. Easy on the eye.
Like,
I get
this is
that.
gonna be, we recorded this forever.
I'll take it off for you. Generally, I don't care, but
I know
I'll
you
take
do.
it off for you.
Thank you.
I was stressing you this whole time. You're just like holding yourself back. You're like,
Shame, it's been bugging. Yes, I actually wanted to finish this segment,
Sorry.
and then I was gonna be like, "Sorry, Chi, you wanna say something?" and take it from there. But his eyes are dying. Thank you, Khumuso.
clearly.
The first one being a bird builds its nest before it has children. Then the second one being an elephant should never be an elephant's trunk should never be too heavy.
Yes.
For
Too
it
heavy
to
for
carry.
it, yeah.
So I know with some of the guests I've had before, we've spoken about the impact of fathers, especially in a time where toxic masculinity and men are trash is trending.
Yeah.
And I'm always happy when men speak about their dads, whether the guy was fully present or present now and then, and the impact. But more importantly, I find a lot of women don't speak about their fathers, their stepfathers, their uncles, their older brothers who played like important roles in their lives. And I remember, I don't know what year it was, but you and I used to travel in the morning. I'd take you to PwC.
Yes.
It was in that week
Yes.
traveling together that the way you spoke about your dad,
Yeah.
number one, it gave me a glimpse into how you view people, men, your father. And it just got me to appreciate the role that a father can play even when he is not aware. Your mom was a full-time business person?
Full-time business person and a teacher.
School teacher?
Yep. And studied at the same time.
Like a proper Mbogoto?
The best of the best. Hence, I see myself the way I see myself. I was birthed by a phenomenal woman out of this world.
You had two strong parents?
Extremely strong parents.
How's that pressure for you or for you and your siblings?
Surprisingly enough, I wouldn't call it pressure. I don't feel pressure from what or the way that they brought us up. If anything, I think I surprised them more than anything. Firstly, well, I say this because my mom actually likes to tell me this, that when she was pregnant with me, my dad wanted a second boy, because my older brother's a boy.
Yeah.
And then when I came out and I was a girl, he wasn't well, actually the name even Sbahle was like, they said to my dad, okay, what if intombazane? And then he was like,
yes.
Then that's how I got the name. But then as I grew up and they would see like how I am, like as a young girl and everything, my mom would tell me how my dad would be like, hey, just because of like my mind and how I see things or what I did and whatever. So I never felt pressure from them. If anything, I'm grateful and I'm thankful. And now when I look back at how I was brought up, like while I was in it and, mom's making us work all the time. So we even cleaned Amatende. Like I hated school holidays.
Yeah.
Because that was work.
I can understand.
Extreme work. So I grew up feeling like, nah, man, there's no way. These people hate us. But now if I would make sure my kids go through the same thing. Because I understand the values and the way it makes me the way I am today,
Where do you think maybe your mom and dad failed? I asked this because there's a lot of parents that raise us to work really hard and we hate it. Every weekend.
Yeah.
And for me, at least, I used to feel like maybe it wasn't explained well enough. Because clearly you were frustrated at the time. You shouldn't have been, because you appreciate it now.
Yes.
So how would you, if you were your mom now and you had kids, how would you do it differently so that they still get the same experience, but they're not frustrated?
Oh, that's a very tough question. Because I don't think there is a way that you can do it differently. Because
she
had to be strict. Yeah. She had to be hard on us. She had to. I remember actually recently, just now in December, we were laughing about how Uma was, because we were all at home, like all my siblings and everything, and we were like, "Hey, Uma is kati sevenza. You would literally fall off letter because you're trying to put drapings," and she'd be like, "Oh, okay, yega. There's no time to say, oh, shame, nanaza, pepiza." No.
Yeah.
And even if you've just slept for an hour, it's like, okay, there was, and I feel like if there was still that, it was going to influence how I see or feel about things now. And not exactly in the best way. I don't think there's anything she could have changed.
When you look at other females, other women, other girls growing up.
Yeah.
Did you judge them? Did you look down on them for being weak, for being soft, for being lazy?
No, I wanted to be them. I was like, I want to have a holiday where my parents are saying we're going to drive down to somewhere siyohlala weekend khona noma khona umsebenzi ekhaya. I wanted that. I wanted it so many times. Like there was a lot. Simple things like being able to discuss with generations is all.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the class now. Hey, Bonita, and you like,
we're not allowed to watch TV.
Yeah, we're not allowed to, and we genuinely weren't. But at the same time, for me, I feel like that's what helped me get the good marks that I did get in like school, because I was quite the shit.
Oh snap!
Hence I say like it's just like.
You don't find that other women are weak now that you're older because they didn't have the struggle and the work ethic and the strict parents?
No, I don't feel like my greatness has affects me in a way where I look at others as below me.
Yeah.
No, I think everyone's got their story. Everyone should have their story. I don't believe that everyone should have been brought up like me or should be like me. That makes me not stand out, and I like standing out. So I don't want to like
Say that again. That makes
me stand out, and I like standing out.
The
way
fact
that I
that
grew
you
up
were cooked the way you were cooked.
Yeah.
It allows you to stand out, arguably dominate and succeed more than others. Not necessarily.
That's a tough one.
Because I
Yes
can
and
see
no.
you're trying to, which is pretty cool. You're trying to
Yes and
make sure
no.
that in your response, which is important, you don't knock other women.
I don't want to do
Like,
that.
I'm strong and
No.
other women are weak.
No.
But again, this is why I was asking if you're honest to yourself, that the reason or the fact that you were raised so tough, it does somewhat make you stronger, more able, an ability to, I don't know, endure more because you were trained to.
Yes. I say yes, and I think I'm cringing or I'm moving like that a bit because I like reminding myself that I can only speak on my experience.
Yeah.
So I can't guarantee that because you were brought up differently or didn't have to do as much as I did, that equates to me being a certain someone versus you not.
Yeah.
Because I don't know your experience. All I know is mine.
Sure.
And mine was dope. And it definitely equipped me to be the woman that I am today and endure all that I do endure and want to be such a challenge-based human. Like, I don't like easy stuff.
What did your dad do for a living and what happens after high school?
My dad did a lot of things. My father did a lot of things, but he was mainly the senior commissioner for CCMA. He first worked a lot in municipalities. And then he opened the branch in Newcastle, the first CCMA branch in Newcastle.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Apart from that,
You never considered studying, I don't know what your dad studied,
Law.
but it sounds like law.
Law.
You never considered law education like your mom?
I did because funny enough, when I was in pre-primary school, and then they're doing that graduation thing because you're going from grade R to grade 1.
Yeah.
I was the cool kid, of course. And everyone was there because when they ask you, they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Everyone was like, a lawyer. No. Everyone was like a teacher or a
police
policeman.
officer, fireman.
There goes me. And they say, what do you want to be? And I say, I want to be a lawyer. The whole crowd was like, whoa. Literally 2 memories that I remember from like being 6 years old. And that's one of them. So I did definitely consider law. I still do. And I probably would study law just.
Because of your dad or maybe what you've seen in life?
In the beginning, it like when I was still a young child, it was because of my dad. But now it's because I'm so invested in cases and law stuff. Like I love watching, lawyers and stuff. And I feel like I'd be a dope lawyer. Like I was watching the Johnny Depp trial, like I'm his girlfriend or something.
Yeah.
And like I'm shouting at the screen, and now I've been watching the Senzo Meyiwa one, and I just like watching law stuff, and it makes me want to study and understand everything behind it. I think that's also just my personality. I don't like surface things. I like going deep and saying, oh, this is happening because of this, or this is...
Were you those people that watched about Boston Legal, Law and Order, CSI?
Surprisingly enough, no. I've never been big on series or...
You're big on like real cases?
Yes.
Okay.
Real life stories, documentaries. If it's based on a true story, movie or series, I'm probably watching it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else did your father do besides his legal work?
It was just legal work.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just...
And that sustained the entire family?
That sustained 4 households.
Oh, okay. I'll actually go into your dad just now. You went to one of the wackest schools in Newcastle.
Haters in the
Such a
building.
pub school. No, I'm kidding. You went to our rival school.
Yes.
Any memories you maybe have from there? Any experiences that maybe stand out for you? Eferam.
Fairham High School.
That's where my sister went to as well.
Yes. Penny. Shout out to Penny.
This is how I know it's a pub school.
No.
I'm kidding.
Damn, my high school was very... It was good until it wasn't.
Okay.
And then it got good again, if that makes sense. And this was solely based on it's crazy that I'm actually speaking about it now and I'm the age that I'm at now, but it is something that actually affected me and was so deep back then. But I was friends with, a certain individual. And then when we stopped being friends, it's almost as if everyone created cliques, but mostly her side. Yeah. And I was very frowned upon and, this bad person for a while, and it affected me for, some time. But after that, things got great again. And I was like in 4 choirs. That's girls choir, school choir, NKZN youth choir.
Let them know.
KZN youth choir.
Let them know.
I was the head girl of the NKZN youth choir and the deputy for school choir. Played netball. Here's another one. I think I still am the first Black Miss Ferrum for like Derby Day. Remember we did Derby? Yeah. The first and still the Black Miss Ferrum. I was a prefect. But yeah, high school was interesting. Another fond memory is actually my dad was actually there when I was being called to be a prefect. And I didn't even know he knew about the prize giving thing. So I just remember like they called my name and I look in the crowd and he's there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are you here? Because a lot of things I feel like with my dad, we never really I would say expected him to be there. Yeah. Because you kind of already know that there's chances that he's not around for that week or that day or whatever. He could be at any other wife's.
Were you ever a tomboy?
I think so. But tomboy makes it feel or seem very tomboy. But I like saying I've never been a very girly girl.
Sure.
Like I've never been I want to wear pink all the time and I want to do literally me doing actually that's why I was late, by the way, because my friends were like, dude, you better do makeup, dress up, be I wanted to just be in sweatpants and a top, that's me on the regular. So I do I don't think I'm a girly girl hectically. I like being chilled.
Why do you think I wouldn't call it a breakup, but the bad period you had with your friend, why do you think it affected you so deeply? Is it because you didn't expect that friendships would go like that? Were you not exposed to cliques at the time? Was it something else?
Both of the above, and also just the severity of the isolation. Yeah. It was the first time it made me feel damn, am I this really horrible person? To the point where actually there's a girl from my class who we were in the NKZN youth choir with. We were at practice this one time. The NKZN would practice, I think, once a Friday or something. Yeah. I don't know. Were you ever in the...
I was definitely in there from grade 9 because,
Oh, okay.
But yes, rehearsals were on Fridays.
What was the theme song? The NKZN theme song?
I don't know what it was in your years because I'm older, but we had the Irish Blessing generally as the song that carried us throughout the years.
Yes, no, it was. It still was.
As on tester, as on tester. Don't play those games.
But yes, on Friday we had a rehearsal and went to the bathroom. She came with me. She came and she just started crying. And she's like, Sbahle, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of being...
This was not the lady. Or this was the friend?
This was just now someone who was also in my class and would see the isolation. I went from being cool with every female to having to sit with the guys. Yeah. Because no female wanted to sit with me. No one wanted to, small things like partnering up for a project or just because of that friendship ended. So she came to me and we had this moment in the bathroom and she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm tired of speaking badly. Because now she got to know me for me. Yeah. Because she had no choice but to get to know me because now we're in the youth choir. It's a smaller circle of people. We're both altos. We're singing, And that's, I think, when she got to know me outside of what she had been told or the situation that I had with my friend. And then she was just like, I'm so tired of everyone speaking so badly about you and you're such a nice person. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Did it involve the boy?
Unfortunately. I hate it too. I hated that it did too. But actually, let me break it down. This is what happened. Well, you know what? Everyone says they've got their side of the story. Sure. This is mine. There was a certain boy that had really liked me. So I was dating, my high school sweetheart was from your rival school, from like...
Of course, because Newcastle High had the best guys in the town. But anyways, now that we've gotten that fact out of the way.
So I was dating someone, I wouldn't even call it dating at the time. It was just like, you like someone, you guys look cute together, so you're an item. But he was from your rival school from grade 8 to grade 12. But there was someone in my high school that really had a huge crush on me from the moment I got there. And he was a year, so I was in grade 8, they were in grade 9. So obviously me having my bestie, I shared everything with her. She knew about this guy and, whatever. And I'd be like, and he put in so much effort all the time. Like Valentine's Day, I'd always get something. Meanwhile, I'm not getting anything from my high school. But anyway,
because we raise thugs at Newcastle High. No. Shout out to Newcastle High and the guys there who keep it thuggish. We don't do that soft stuff. Sorry.
So yeah, my best friend obviously know about this and would even know how I really feel. That like, oh, this guy's really trying hard. Maybe I should like give him a chance. But I'm really in love with like my high school sweethearts. I don't want to, And then all of a sudden, it was Valentine's Day. I was in a physics lesson. See, I remember it like sure. To the T. And it's Valentine's Day. And I know I always get something on Valentine's Day. This was now, I think, in grade 11, if not 10. So it's Valentine's Day. The matrics are coming in with gifts for whoever. Then my name doesn't get called. My bestie gets called with a huge card. Like a huge, it was so beautiful. I was so jealous. Huge card. I'm happy as hell for her because I'm like, girl, who the hell is it? I'm even like, oh my God, let's see. I open it and it's the guy that always sends me things.
Jeez.
So now I'm like, how? Okay. And then she's like, I don't even know why he's sending me things. And now my mind is messed up-ish because if she wanted to be with him or if he was, approaching her or whatever, she could have told me.
Yeah.
And I could have said, but dude, you already know how I feel about my guy. I'm not leaving him. So by all means, if you guys, And then after that, she just switched off and cut me off. And I was now this horrible person to everyone. And
when you'd done nothing.
From my side, I did nothing.
This is a common story. I'm glad you're sharing it.
Yeah.
It's common. I'm not going to unpack it, but yeah, I don't know the guy stories. Maybe I wasn't an ordinary guy at school, but I know guys beef over girls at school.
Yeah.
But you hear a lot of the girls isolating each other, getting their friends to be like, let's all hate her type of situation.
Yeah. Like and
it does hurt girls sometimes for very long. And I think for women, it creates this thing of, you can't trust other women. We're all kind of fighting for the same guy, which is not really healthy.
Which is not. But I think I just want to kind of maybe include it into my friendship that I have now with Anel. I don't know if you know. Well, you do know Anel. Come on now.
Who's Anel? Nather Bay.
Anel is on the Nather Bay. Okay.
Girls from Firm are so up. Actually, girls from Firm are hot.
Damn, we know we definitely are.
But the guys from Firm are so up.
Okay, story for another day. But
no, I'm kidding. Yes. Shout out to Anele, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to
And shout out to all the people from Newcastle that are
doing great things.
Doing absolutely amazing things.
Shout out to you too, sir.
Thank you.
So with Anele and I, we've had a friendship for 22 years now.
That's beautiful.
And the main thing in our friendship is that if ever a man that she may have been with comes to me, she's the first person I tell.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Because I do strongly believe that most breakups with females, it's a man involved.
Sure.
And it's so easy to, like not make that happen just by being honest with each other and saying, yo, dude, this guy, I'm sure you told me he was talking to you. Well, he's here type of thing, So yeah, it did. After that whole Valentine's Day thing, we just...
We call that the bro code. And there are guys that don't respect it. If there's a girl I like and you want to go, you first have to get a green light from me. If there's a girl I used to be with, Abang in high school so many years ago, it's later now, you guys are working, but I knew you guys dated. It could have been for 2 weeks, but you knew you have to come and get a green light from me first.
Common courtesy also, It's just
and normally
courtesy.
with women, it's indoor that comes first. burn all the bridges.
And it's okay, but let it be like, manje, mina, I say indota comes first as in like, indota sekwe yakho nawe fully and you're okay. And not that it's still in the talking stage or, you know, type of thing. Like you guys are solid and it's a relationship. I mean, I'm Zulu. I was brought up to, you know, my man is my man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you study at Varsity and where did you go?
I went to Wits University. I studied accounting.
Okay.
I still plan to continue and do the whole CA route.
Why?
Angifuna ukuyiqala into ngayiqedi.
That's the only reason.
Yeah. Not because I see myself being a CA at some big company. No.
I say this because it haunted me for a long time. I did honors and accounts at UJ.
Yeah.
And I remember for a long time, I was also like, do articles, don't do articles. And then there's this thing of I started this journey and I've had to work over it for years. I don't want it because the whole point of doing it is the question is for who? And if it's not fully for self, it means it's for other people. Yeah. So, but I understand.
Yeah. So I feel like when I started in varsity, like when I chose to do accounting, it was because I want to be a CA, a qualified CA. To be honest, actually, while I was in varsity, I even loved the idea of studying to the point where it's a doctorate because I just loved being called a doctor and I'm not a doctor. It just sounds cool to me.
Is that still something you want?
I think so. I think also because of the fact that while I was in high school, I saw my mother still studying, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, like when I'm done with my kids and they're also like studying, let's all study.
Yeah, let's make it a thing.
Yeah, let's all just study together. There's nothing wrong with it. Also, my father was very big on education and just equipping yourself. And actually, I like what you said on the Mac G podcast show when you were like, you yourself are your biggest asset. So equip yourself with as much as you can, whether it's physically, mentally, or
There's a nice quote that goes, we upgrade our software, our phones, our cars, but we almost never upgrade ourselves, whether it's physically or mentally, as you're saying. So shout out to that. And shout out to the children of school teachers, because my mom was a school teacher for the longest time. And what I realized, this golden thread with school teachers is obviously, mama, besides gunmagi sama paper at times, they do have this thing of we must constantly be learning. And it really becomes a culture thing that other families and other kids whose parents maybe are in business, they don't see it that much. Like, no, so shout out to school teachers' children as well.
Shout outs to them.
Your dad was a polygamist.
Yes.
It's such I'm so invested in the topic in particular because I'm currently embracing my bias towards polygamy. Okay. It's difficult to explain, and maybe I'll do it on another platform, but I'd like to hear from you as the child, and especially a female child of a polygamist, your experiences and your thoughts around polygamy in general, and the polygamy that your dad had. I think you had the advantage of your mom being the third wife. It would maybe be a different conversation with the child of the first wife.
Yeah, definitely.
But just if you could share whatever you'd like about your dad being a polygamist and how it may have affected you or how you think of it.
How I think of polygamy right now, I think it would be very hypocritical to say it's a bad thing. Or maybe not hypocritical, but delusional for me to say that because I come from it. I'm a product of it. Okay. That's like me saying my mother and father are wrong. So I'm wrong. There's no way. So that definitely nothing I frown upon. I feel like to each its own. If it is for you, it's for you. And if it's not, it's not. I'll wait for you to ask this before I answer it without you asking it, because maybe you're not going to answer it. But, because maybe you're not even going to ask me that.
No, but if it's important, please raise it.
I wouldn't say it's important, but I mean, I do obviously get asked a lot. The next question after I tell anyone that I'm from a polygamous family is, would you?
Of course.
Would I be someone's second, third, fourth wife? No.
Okay.
That doesn't sit well with me. Would I marry someone and along the line, us having kids, having a family, and he comes to me and says, look, I love you and I don't think you're missing anything, but I really think I want to explore this
Nangu
thing.
anele. Ngathi uyasondela
Nangu
usisi.
anele. Would I be open to a conversation about it? Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to say I can definitely say yes. Ideally, I would like to have me and my person. However, sometimes it's such a tug of war in my mind, or maybe a catch-22, because that's not my norm. That's not what I grew up in. That's not what I saw. What I saw and what I grew up in seems pretty fine to me. I didn't feel like I lacked of anything. So it's very hard for me to be like, no, the right thing to do is to be with just me and my husband and our kids. I don't know what that
Do you
does.
think you have been adequately trained to be the wife of a polygamist?
I think subconsciously.
Because I find a lot of men,
Yeah.
as much as Sbhale's team, they don't know the beginning of what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And you had an amazing father, and never mind polygamy.
Yeah.
A lot of boys and men are not raised to be amazing fathers and husbands.
True. Yeah, I feel like subconsciously, because it is my norm. My norm is not one partner in one house.
Yeah.
That's not how I grew up. So I feel like subconsciously it is something that I would be able to do personally, or my preference would be I want to be the first wife. But also I must mention that my father said to me, I should not be in a polygamous setup ever.
Did he tell you why?
He didn't.
Do you think you know why?
I think he would be someone who would have encouraged it if I was a boy. But as a female, no. And I say this because he probably knew the conflicts that his wives would have amongst each other and didn't want that for me. Yeah.
Do you think it may have had something to do with your personality?
Yes.
Sometimes, or let me put it this way, he could have maybe given one of your sisters or half-sisters different advice.
I believe so. Yeah. My
So
father
you realize
and
it when for you,
No.
Klampe, this wouldn't
This
work.
wouldn't work for you. Yeah, I think so. My father and I had a very good relationship, and he loved to challenge my mind. So I do believe that there are certain things that he would say to me that he can't necessarily say to others.
Yeah.
There's something I'll actually probably even tell you off camera, because I wouldn't want to hurt anyone like that, because it would cause probably a wedge. But that was enough for me to know that he sees me very differently from.
I understand.
Yeah.
I think I have an idea what it might be, but I understand. Do you think your mom was ever in some point in pain? Number one. And number two, I've realized we come from a very funny space in time where our parents came from apartheid to a modern living and women empowerment. And I find a lot of our parents ended up splitting, in particular because ubaba wahlangana nomama ingane encane mhlawumbe esafunda, and over time umama became empowered, wasebenza, wafunda, wayikhandela imali. And what causes the clash is that umama useyiphethe and she no longer now lives under ubaba. So do you think this caused your mom pain, and do you think there was ever in her journey of life a transition where it's like, maybe I'm actually not meant to be in this thing anymore?
No. Why that's a easy answer for me is because if there's one thing I know, is that woman loved my dad. Actually, sorry, to go back to the question about whether I would ever do or be in a polygamous setup or not, love can really make you do things you never thought you would do.
Love is a mental illness. I've said this. But
it's a beautiful type of sickness.
It's a beautiful mental illness.
That's the thing. It's a beautiful, no, I'm not going to call it a mental.
Let me put it this way without making it seem bad. Love numbs rationality, whether good or bad. That's why
100%.
a mom can fight a lion to protect her child.
100%.
It's beautiful irrationality, but then on the other side, mawufuna ukushiya umuntu wakho angagcina sekidnapper ngoba usiyahlanya, because it numbs rationality.
100%.
Yeah.
So I do feel like my mother was very in love with my father, and also apart from that, I feel like my father really appreciated, just to link it with the other conversation about umuntu manje seyimele as umuntu wesifazane. I feel like my father loved that about my mom.
Yeah.
That she was not the type of woman to say, oh, husband, I really want to do this to the house,
Yeah.
and then wait on him.
Yeah.
No,
She was
didn't get it.
independent.
She was independent, and I feel like my father loved that about her, because at the end of the day, umswakhe umuzi nani akushiwo ukuthi my mom's surname uDlomo, akushiwo ukuthi weDlomo, it was Sithole.
Yeah.
Job, and no one's gonna say, "Oh, umfazi wakho yenzile." It's the man, you know. And my mother was very okay with that and didn't, you know, want to parade that. No, I did it. She was like, "Oh, it's my husband. What I do is my husband." So I don't think she ever felt like, "Oh no, I should leave this or I shouldn't." And my mother portrayed a lot of love, a lot of romance. I grew up actually to a certain extent, not even to a certain extent, but the way I love or love romance and stuff like that it's very much based on how I saw it with my parents. My parents were like, I knew my dad was coming when, even though my mom had just changed like the bedding and everything the day before, she's changing it again on that
Like,
day.
go.
Or
Job is coming through,
yes,
boy.
Job is coming through. Or like change the, you know, the towels in the bathroom or whatever's cooked at home.
Hawaqala ukupheka early kangaka, mama. What's happening?
That's how I know. That's how I know my dad's coming. Or catching glimpses of her in the morning when we're getting ready to school and she's there ironing my dad's shirts. And she would even say to me, "Nawe mawusumdala uzothola umyeni wakho uzomairinela ishirts." And she would teach me and be like, "Yeah, kumele ungene kuleli corner," and stuff like that. And now when my dad is, you know, walking to the car, my mom's carrying the bag for him, like his laptop bag, and they'll be by the car, gives him a kiss. She, God of honor is what we'd call it. So she'd stand there and she'd call us. I would always be there first, of course. And so we'd all literally stand there and my dad would drive out from the garage through to the garage, no man, it's not
The gate or the driveway.
gate.
Sure.
Yeah, down the driveway.
Sounds
out
like
the
a
gate.
movie.
And we're standing there like, bye. And he loved doing this thing of like pointing and then we'd point back. So I grew up like seeing all of that. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to have someone to do all these cute things for and stuff. That goes back to me saying, yeah, my mother loved my father. I don't think
The
there was
love
ever a
aspect
time-
is the most important for you.
Yes.
Someone who it's easy to submit to,
Yes.
to do things for.
Yes.
That's why you'd consider if he wants to go out with. If I love you enough and
Yes.
you've made it easy for me to submit.
For me to love you and
I'm
yes,
willing
and
to
submit
listen.
to you. I'm willing to listen to you. You're my man, you know, and I, for me, I'm very big on, I'm still very old school in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I believe the man is still the head of the house. And I am ngusizo lakhe. You know, and even in the Bible and things too.
Yeah.
In Adam wacela umsizi. Was it umsizi? I don't know the right word, but yeah,
Sure.
that. So I do feel like, yeah, if my man is, and I'm submissive to him, not am submissive, because if you're my man, then I'm saying
should
not
be
if,
natural.
yeah.
Otherwise, we shouldn't be together.
No, because
Yeah.
your role is your role and mine is mine. And my main thing as a woman is I'm naturally a nurturer and take care. And it fulfills me if I'm taking care of my man, you know, and only for those, someone who understands what it is taking care of me too. And still understand. My father used to say this, Maushelwa. There's two types of men, right? And so the picture he would paint, I guess he would be like, okay, so there's a river, right? You're on one side of the river. Men are on that. Let's just say all men are on the other side of the river. There will be a man that shouts across and says, "Hey, Sbahle, wozalana man." Now, I was when with ziyakhipha lana, like, you know, it's beautiful. It's the land of milk and honey. Then there's going to be a man that gets in that water, whether he's swimming, whether he's got a boat, so now those are also the different types of men. There's one that's going to swim and say, "Hey, I couldn't make a boat, but I really think you should come across to the side and come and convince you."
Yeah.
And then there's those that will build a boat or build a bridge or whatever. And then based on that, you will know how serious a man is about you. And then you make your decision off of that. But don't you dare go for the man that's screaming and expecting you to jump in water and swim across. No. There's not a man that is going to be able to understand what it is and the value of having you and then the essence and all the key importance of keeping you. Because the man that made the plan to get to you, he knows what he did to get there. And carrying you back.
You know the power of a present father, because he was saying that to you, but I'm imagining him saying this to a son.
Yeah.
Don't ever shout at a woman that you're serious about.
No.
My father said something along the lines of, when you're serious about a woman, you'll see with yourself in how you take care of yourself in your space. Before she comes, no one has to tell you. You'll make sure it's clean and it's whatever. And with another woman, you probably won't even think twice, and that'll tell you that this is the one, because I get nervous.
Yeah. You're like,
when she's calling, when she's...
Yeah. And then also my father would say, you know, a man should treat his woman as his firstborn child, in terms of care in all aspects. Like, he should be able to know that, no, my woman has eaten, my woman is well fed, she's well taken care of, she's healthy, she's, you know, as an all-rounder. He would say that that's a big element. Actually, another thing, well, I think now I'm jumping around in questions.
No,
now it's like a conversation.
I'm enjoying this because I'm learning.
So he would...
Jobe is teaching me to say,
I mean, how else did he convince 4 women to say, I see that?
So, Jobe.
Also, yeah, that's what my mom would say. But my mom, when I asked her and I said, Ma, let's just have a one-on-one. Yeah. Okay, this man had 2 other wives.
Sure.
What was going on in your mind? And she was like, look, I was not getting any younger. And here was a man that is saying to me, I love you. I want to take care of you and our kids. That is what I can offer you. And she said, well, how do I say no? Apart from the fact that my dad was tall, handsome.
Yes, man.
And that guy, like, you know, I mean, he was that guy that studied law, the first to have a car. And he's, you know, my dad has a street named after him.
That's beautiful. Good.
Yeah, Vryheid, in the township. I forgot the name of the township.
Okay.
I forgot the name of the township, but it's
the name of the street?
Jobe Street.
Jobe Street, named after him.
Yeah, because he was a big guy.
Powerful man.
And Vryheid is where the first wife is based. So the wives are all in surrounding towns. First wife is Vryheid, second Dundee, third Newcastle, fourth Paul Petersburg. Edumbe.
Paul Petersburg. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Polokwane. It used to be called something, Petersburg or something. Okay.
Yeah.
So when they show which you know the Natalie
But I also asked him and I said, okay, Dad, did you grow up saying, I can't wait to have 4 wives? Or like, what happened? And he was like, to be honest, the moment there was a kid involved, I mean, okay, well, if we're being very factual about polygamy, or let me rather say, if I'm being very factual about it and the way that I view it, I feel like polygamy is a result of infidelity.
Okay.
And how also my father explains how, look, as soon as there was a child involved, I wanted
yeah.
And there was no way that I was going to allow another man yeah. And the only way he could do that was wiving.
Through marriage. A lot of guys these days marry women for that reason. I think it's the wrong reason, but a lot of them, girl falls pregnant,
and then they get married.
And whatever.
Yeah. So he said for him, that is why it turned out being more than one wife. It's not like he was actively like saying, oh, I'm going to wife you. However, I obviously do believe that when he met my mother, there was nothing else he was going to do. He had to wife her. Like, regardless of kids or not.
It was like, look at her. Come on,
come on.
Look at her.
Come on.
I don't blame you.
So yeah, that's also part of the reason why or how he got into his polygamous setup, you know. And he was very firm about it. My mother would say how my dad would always say to them, hold your position. If you are number 3, you're number 3. You will never be number 2. You'll never be number 4. You'll never be number 1. And the number 1 is number 1. My dad would also get all the wives' cards, right? And
you Hey, before
You could say that. And so, I mean, the first wife always had the best car. That was just standard. And, you know, my father, I think, handled Istem Sake in a very fair manner. And I believe he had women who also, I guess, understood and were, or well, at least showed that they were okay with it the way it is. And well, I mean, not that I would know if he ever had a hard time about it. It's not like he would come to me and say, hey, man,
he probably did, but he did well to manage it. And
yeah. And it was for him, his big thing was his kids.
Sure.
He would always even say, hey, lava, you know. And actually, growing up, during school holidays, we'd go to the first wife's house. Yeah.
I wanted to ask if you had a relationship with the other wives and what that was like.
We did. We were all very united.
Yeah.
While my father was alive. And then I feel
he's passed on. Sorry, when did he pass on?
2020, March 14.
Oh, rest in peace.
No, not March, December 14.
December 2020.
2020.
Okay, my dad was February 2020. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, rest in peace to you too. But
they're somewhere discussing their kids.
So I think we were very united, or we were good at portraying that until his passing.
Yeah.
My father's funeral was not the best, unfortunately. I think that at the funeral, a lot of things that happened shouldn't have happened, because my father was umuntu ongazwani nomsindo at all. He hated ukuthethisana nokulwa, and unfortunately there was a lot of that. I was robbed of seeing my father in a coffin, and I was robbed of being able to throw sand on my father's grave. I had to watch my father's coffin go down from afar, like from literally like, yeah. Due to, I believe that while my dad was alive, everyone wanted to portray that everything is good for his sake. And then now because he's gone, it was just like, now we can finally be angry, you know. But I personally, growing up, I had a great respect for the first wife. I still do, regardless of everything, because at the end of the day, she forms part of the story of me being born.
Okay.
In a way, because ukuvuma kwakhe, you know, ukuthi ubaba yenze lento was her opening up for my dad to be able, in a way, like it's almost as if she made it possible for me to also say I've got parents who are married and not ukuthi mawa ulona nje makwapeni forever.
Sure.
So I'll always have a great respect for her, regardless. But yeah, the funeral really unpacked and probably also made me not see this polygamy thing as such a great thing after all. Yeah.
Yo, what a story.
I think you ask yourself 10 million things right now.
So let me go a bit back.
Yeah.
I've said some inflammatory, some controversial things like women are children.
Okay.
And a lot of the feminists will get angry and, you know, and I'm like, sure. And I normally can explain myself.
Yeah.
And part of my explanation was to be like, why would you get upset if I say women are children? Because I love children. And I'm one of the people that actually respects children and doesn't look down on them. So I fully agree with your dad in treating your woman, but treating your woman as your firstborn and your eldest. And what I want for my firstborn and my eldest is you're fed, you have shelter, you're clothed, you have opportunities, and I want you to be empowered to a point where you're strong enough to run the house, even if ngiyengekho.
Yes.
Because you're my firstborn.
Yes.
So it can't be that things are falling apart too corner, you know. So I agree with that. The struggles of polygamy and all those things, like I said, I'll maybe tell my story on another platform because I've got 6 children from 4 women. I don't believe in marriage for my own reasons, but I'm thinking of if I was raised similar to, it can't be whatever. I would have married all these women and I would have found myself in a polygamous situation. And I've already got stories in Ashadanga.
Yeah. If you met my dad, he was going to encourage you to do that.
And I think he was going to guide me because I've met a lot of polygamists. And you're telling your story. And I normally tell people stories of other polygamists besides Umselegu.
Yeah.
I'm like, the men I've met, a lot of them for some reason are Abaposi. A lot of them love their children. A lot of them, they almost love the pain of leadership because leadership is painful.
Yeah.
And they take it on and they move. And a lot of these women that are in this table, they know it. Oh, yeah, a lot of them are really strong women.
Yes.
And there's these assumptions that, if you find a girl value who just sits and wait for money, and you're like, the wives I've met are not that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of misconceptions I find. But the biggest thing for me is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Polygamy should not be a preference. And I mean this for everyone. You should be like, I will not have more than one partner. And you should only do that maybe because wakang and then someone fell pregnant. You're like, look, maybe. Or because you're like, look, and this is what I've been trying to say to guys these days.
Yeah.
Because guys want polygamy and I wish they could get it so that they could see which is
it's not
have one home, have a woman, have children, have a family.
Yes.
Take full responsibility for them, obviously with the assistance of your wife.
Yes.
And after that, if you're still like, this is too easy, then maybe you have capacity for more. But
exactly.
But you think you can do more than one woman, you're lying to yourself. Yeah.
To the point where, as as females, we like that. We're not going to pretend we don't. We like feeling like you've got a man in your life. Like, oh, I can't do that. And, I can't. But it goes back to that, to Guti, with what you've got here. That's why I say, for me, even when, I don't know. Sometimes I'm in limbo about marriage for the first time ever because I've always been super sane, lover, I want to get married, white picket fence. But sometimes you look at what's going on and you're like, oh my God. But when I get married, this is why I say I would be open to a conversation about him wanting to introduce someone else because I would have to feel like my man has been my man.
Sure.
Through and throughout, and has made me feel like my role is a woman. Because I think the most painful thing is being in a relationship where you feel like you're still a man.
Sure.
Ugh, I hate it.
I get that.
I call it his Mary Jane. Like
Mary
living
Jane.
his Mary Jane sucks.
Yeah.
Like when you still gotta do so much for yourself as a woman, but you have a man. It's like, what?
What's actually happening here?
Well, like then
He
let me
becomes
just
your
be
firstborn,
alone. Like then
but a needy firstborn.
Yeah.
A lot of men are polygamists in the sense that they are married to other aspects of their lives.
Yeah.
So it could be his job,
Yeah.
which is very demanding. Could be whatever career, maybe he's a musician or whatever. Could be his own family, something that some women struggle with. Could be a mama's boy, he's always at home.
Black tax,
So you realize that I'm sharing this man with abagubo. He has to take care of his siblings, etc. So this is what I'm saying. If you can take care of your woman and your family and you still have capacity, it should be easy.
True.
Money, when it comes to polygamy and how big of a factor you think it played, because you talk about a father that bought cars for his women and because a lot of people have this thing and I normally dispute it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts.
What is this thing?
You need to have a lot of money to be a polygamist.
You do, because it's past the wives and the wives' cars. Sbahle,
Sure.
who's in high school doing choir, prefect, There's a time that my mom even said to me, your dad came to me and said, the next time he comes, uzovula acela bemvulela isango bese uzohlala erufini. Like akafuna ungena endlini ubona uSbahle. So bemlethela ukudla and everything on the roof because once uSbahle wambona, dad, so at school this, So apart from just the wives, it's the kids. My father had 15 kids in total. One passed away. So 14. Yeah.
Sure.
One passed away, so there's 14 of us. Now imagine, apart from the 4 wives, that
15 human beings that are looking at
that
you
are
and like,
looking at you
"Sbhle."
saying, you know, and my dad was very big on making sure that he pays for the school. Education was big for him. So he was like, in terms of school, get him jail, but he doesn't even, you know, want to go back and forth with the wives about that. So
All of this from his salary.
yeah,
Hectic.
yeah, he did very well for himself.
You are like a tainted woman in my eyes.
Tainted?
Because I worry about meeting females like you
Why?
who were raised by a superhero.
Why?
Because that's all you know. And most men, 99% of men are not that, which means they're never going to be good enough. Umchito neingane eziwu-2 uhlulwa school fees. And you were raised by a guy who not only was paying school fees for 15 kids and taking care of his 4 wives, but it almost looked effortless.
I think because of the way I grew up with also seeing my mom being such a worker and not like lean back and you know, it kind of for me makes me like think that people don't know that I also see that part a lot too. I'm not your typical woman that's waiting to be at home and be fed by a man.
Okay.
Type of thing. Yes, I did see my father doing the most for his wives and his children, but I don't think it makes me feel like I'm looking for my dad.
But the benchmark is high.
And it should be.
That's why I'm saying females like you make me nervous.
But it should be high.
No, which is fine for you. I'm saying for me, when I meet women like you, like my dad used to, and when the car broke down, I feel like a toolbox. And my dad was like, hey, I'm not going to compete with your father because I'll never match up.
But you don't have to compete.
You think so? Mentally?
No. I'm not looking for my dad.
You know, one of my concerns, there's a family we know together. I'm not going to mention them, but later on it came out how much the mom was carrying the family, but she made it seem like the dad was.
Which is the case.
And I worry because you mentioned something along those lines with your mom and your dad. And I don't know if you've had a conversation with her lately, and specifically when your dad passed on, that some of the stories that may come out, not in your case, but generally, is what umama was doing so much, but because it was always nale moto les what deposit, but we actually paid the installments. The school fees, there was 2 years where I was paying it, or to be honest, the school fees was subsidized by umam Kulu. Like some of these stories don't come out and they only come out later. And when they do, it's painful. And for someone like me who's still learning, I get angry because I'm like, but if these stories came out earlier, I could use this as substantiation to my partner. Like, look, you might look at that man as doing whatever, but you don't know the help he's getting.
Yes.
You don't know that his wives, maybe when a company, let's say the catering company was your father's, the wives actually work for his catering company. So as much as he's paying for these things, they labor. So kind of situation. Cholute varsity you on scholarship.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, actually I've got a bursary or I use NSFAS, whatever the case may be. So I think that's also why the money thing for me becomes a thing. Because when it comes to a woman, a wife, many kids, maybe it's Tembu. For me, money doesn't come first. Where most people are like, money comes first. I meet a lot of guys. And I'm like, before the money, you need to be a leader.
Yes.
And you need to be able to solve problems.
Yes. And what I would also add is that you need to be very mindful of who you're involving in this temp circle.
Yeah.
Because you want like-minded minds. And you would want a person who, as you view money as not the main thing, shares the same sentiment. True. Because I feel like that's how my dad kept his engine running. And again, I can only speak on what I saw with my mother. I don't know how it worked with the others, but I do know, that's the first thing I even mentioned, that I do know that my dad loved that my mother was like, ngikane kwa Sithole, but that doesn't mean ukumele manje ngihlale ngilinde uJobe enze konke. I still also have to raise these kids. Kuyaba khona la mhlambe where it lacked or where it didn't lack, but my mother was also very good at portraying my father a certain way till this day, even after his death, which I actually admire and love.
Protecting him.
Okay. Because I believe there's things that we don't know, and to be honest, we'd probably never know. And for me, again, that goes back to me being able to be someone that, describes my mother as a phenomenal woman. Because I do believe that when you take that vow of marriage and partnership with someone, you protect that. That's my understanding of it, or what I choose to understand from it. So I definitely do feel like there was many times when my mom had to carry us through. There was no way she was going to open all those businesses and still be a teacher if everything was so pashash. You know? And I do feel like just like in any, let me say in life in general, there were times when it was really good and there were times when it was really bad.
Yeah.
But she was able to make sure that in the bad times, she's got us or, the family, and still makes it look like dad is our superhero.
I want to speak about this Tembu for another 2 hours. I'm collecting intel for my own life. I think the last 2 topics I want to raise, I'm going to park this Tembu as much as...
You like it.
I really like the top. I like it because for me, love is a mental illness. Leadership for me is a disease.
We changed that description.
Sorry. Love is irrational. It's a numbing of irrationality. Of rationality.
Yeah.
I believe leadership is a disease. I think anyone who wants to be a leader is asking for pain and to be punched in the face. So I believe Istembu is asking for stress. And I'm just struggling because for 18 years now, I've found myself with multiple women. And I'm getting to a point where I'm trying to embrace that this is who I am and I need to try and carry on with my life in a healthier way because I've caused a lot of hurt. Whereas if I'd managed it differently, if I'd been mentored, I may have been able to say, actually, this is who I am and this is how I operate. But anyways, that's for another day. Last 2 questions. Right. How you make your money now? You've already said you want to finish the CA thing. How are you making your money now? And then I want to speak about perception. Yourself, probably Anele, I've seen it with my sister. When you guys become these small town girls, move to the big city. And then there's this app called Instagram and you guys are fleeking. And the perception that it paints out there and how that may have affected your life and turned you from a human being into an object to some people. But maybe let's start with the easier one. How do you make your money now?
How do I make my money? I've got a brick manufacturing company.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. I get that.
Ukandi itini? Ama blocks?
Yeah, ama blocks. Ama M140 nama Mampara. And so I started that in 2020.
Yeah.
But apart from that business, here's the thing about social media. It's got money.
Let us know, girl. We want the money too.
But I'm not even half or quarter to where I want to be in the social media world. To be honest, I'm actually at a catch-22. I think I'm jumping from the one question and, but I'm in a catch-22 because I never saw myself as an influencer and I've never aimed or aspired to be that. My thing has always been, I want to be a businesswoman. Like, you opened my company. You don't remember, but it was 2017. Thanks, Penuel. You'd always post on your WhatsApp stories like register company. And at the time, I wasn't even too sure why I'm starting it. But I knew that I want to own my own shit.
Yeah.
And like when I saw that with you, I was like, universe is saying
this is a sign.
So yeah, I've always seen myself as a businesswoman and I want to be a businesswoman. But unfortunately, what happens with Instagram, it's a very, you don't have control of much there. Because you now, once you look a certain way or you take pictures in a certain way, you're categorized as an influencer or whatever else is said, on the gram. So, however, because of the things that it has opened and the money that I've made from it, I'm just like, damn.
From Instagram?
Yeah.
How many followers do you have currently?
I now have 109.
Jeez.
Yeah.
No. Jeez.
I have 109 but
109,000.
109,000.
Don't make it seem now like it's just 109. That's a big deal.
The thing is for me.
Congrats, by the way. I think it's some type of achievement in the world we live in today.
I guess. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, I am now only looking at it and trying to be like, okay, like, yeah. Let's do it. And I'm trying to probably navigate and, see where I fall in because they say you have to pick a niche. Are you lifestyle? Are you, However, I'm jumping, sorry.
Cool.
Yeah, but well, it's leading to how else I do make my money. I do have my brick business. I plan to, right now it's based in Newcastle, my hometown. I plan to have a branch here in Johannesburg, only because the traveling back and forth has been strenuous.
Usebenza what? Do you have a partner?
It's mine, 100% mine.
Okay. Would you consider partnering?
Yes.
Okay.
More now than ever, but specifically with a construction company.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some great things that are on the way for the brick company this year, but that is my main source.
Sure.
And then there's modeling. Also, I'm also a model. I mean, creme de la creme.
Come on, look at me. What?
What don't I do? Like,
can we please breathe? Let's take a breather. Just count to 3, please.
Sorry. But so yeah, there's also modeling, and then there's the influencing, and then just to touch on Instagram, how one is portrayed or seen.
Besides portrayed, that's how you make money. You don't have a full 9 to 5.
No.
You said you don't want to be an accountant.
No.
So from the brick manufacturing to, let's say, making money from social media,
Yeah.
your aim is to hopefully just build businesses.
Yes,
That's what you'd like to do.
I want a diverse portfolio.
Okay.
This year, I plan to launch something
Yeah.
that I'm working on. I've actually been working on it for 4 years now, and
Beautiful.
I'm forcing myself to launch it this year. Also, it's outside of the brick or construction world. I'm definitely investing. I've already started investing in another company. I'm planning on having 4 companies that
Solid.
I'm well invested in this year. But apart from that, still heavily in, I don't like having time.
You don't like having time.
Yeah, I want to make time. I like the idea of being so busy that I have to make time. I don't want time.
Beautiful.
I don't want to sit and like, oh,
Thanda ukusebenza.
yes. I want to be that person like, oh shit, I actually have to wake up at 5 or at 4 or at 3 in order for me to do that. I want to be on
Siyabonga
autopilot.
Madlomo. Umsebenzi wakho siyawubona muhle.
Shout out
Events,
to Bob.
decor, amathende, catering.
Hiring out. Yeah.
You want to
we
go
also
into that,
hire-
which is like the family business.
Definitely.
Is your mom
Definitely,
still
that would be
running her
number
business?
5. No, unfortunately not, because after I went, Agari, she was doing it with us,
Okay.
the kids, so that the money can stay there.
Isebenzi left.
Isebenzi manje zahamba zayoqala, you know. So she still like will hire out whatever's still there at home, like small
Okay.
things, but like no, she's not heavily into that anymore. What she did do though, my phenomenal, amazing mother, she's now in the rental space, I could say. So she has some spaces where she's renting out, and she's got tenants.
Okay.
That's what she's doing.
Okay. Residential rental property.
Rental property,
Yeah.
yes, that's what she's doing right now in Newcastle, which I'm going to jump in. There's
You have
nothing
to.
I don't want to jump into.
You have to.
be honest.
Mele
And
ngihlale noma wakho. That's not you. She's the one that will groom me about this term.
yeah, she probably
Penuel
can.
ngikufundise mfanami.
She probably
Ukuthi
can.
uJobo wayenza kanjani? Cha, yebo mama.
She
Mama
probably
sengifaka stress.
can. She probably can. So also, damn, I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry, you talk about the
Because
rental property.
because I wanted to say something, and I was like, let me not say that.
Oh.
Yes, but I want to be diverse portfolio. There's nothing I don't want to challenge myself in. Fail if I fail, I'm not scared of failure. That's the other big thing.
Beautiful.
So I believe in throwing myself in everything. I think I answered the first
Let's
one.
go
We
about
can jump on the
let's
second one.
speak to the portrayal, because I can only
Yeah.
imagine as you're working and building,
Right.
the assumptions are going to be le business lendoda.
Of course.
Look wendoda. I'm sure
course.
khona umchita that's funding her lifestyle.
Of course.
Let's hit.
So before I even started, or the company was running, if I can say. So I had registered 2 companies, which at the time I was not too 100% sure what I want to do with them.
Sure.
But I was just like, in my mind, owning a company was great. I was clueless about it, but I just knew I wanted to have it. And then I remember when the brick business had started, actually the second one, what I wanted to do or still want to do is a sportswear line.
Okay.
Right, because I want something that speaks to me and what I like and working out and stuff. So when I started the brick business, I remember I still was also kind of booming in I wouldn't say booming, but like people were like, who's this girl on Instagram? And I remember going live and a lot of people just kept asking me. And it was also the time of the Blessa Blessi vibes. And well, I mean, we're still in that time. So it's not like it passed.
But at some point, yes, it was
there was a time it was like
Yeah.
the thing, you know? So, you know, I'd go on live and people were like, hey, how do you make your money? Da, 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 da. Also at that time, even my father was still alive. So I hate how people then suddenly assume that when you're alone, it's like, you don't have family, you don't, like, there's no way you could be getting money anywhere else. But I remember saying, because I'd started the brick business, but it wasn't something I posted about or was loud about on my Instagram. I actually never was until recently when I started getting an award for it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. It's most promising startup construction company, Africa.
That's beautiful.
Which I got all the way in Tanzania, by the way. Anyway, so
okay, continental girl.
So at that time, I remember someone like asking, what do you do? What do you do? And I was like, in 2 years' time, you won't have to ask what I do. You'll see it.
Yeah.
And exactly in 2 years' time, I got my award. And then everyone's like, oh, this is what she's been doing, you know. But I have been for the longest time portrayed as there is some sort of male. I think actually the way people portray it, it's that it's multiple men.
Sure,
that
of course.
Are
you're a slay queen, most on Insta.
I hate that. I've got nothing against it. I hate being called that because I don't see myself.
What's a slay queen to you?
I guess. What is it to me? I don't think I view it in such a way where I describe it or say, I just know of the word. But it's not something I feel like I've digged deep and said, oh, this person is a slay or this is not. Because people say to me that I'm like a slay queen. And then I say, okay, how so? And then it's like, how? But look at you. And then I'm like, okay, so are you saying a slay queen is a slay queen because she's like what, light skin, big bum, small waist? No. And then it's like, but then now you're confusing me. And it's actually not even something I like.
The term was tainted, in my opinion.
Yeah.
About Beyonce came out slaying, fleeking.
Yeah.
Then the gays took it and they were slaying and fleeking.
Yeah.
And then later on it transitioned to what we knew as gold diggers and blessies being given the term. And
slay
then
queen.
Any girl on Instagram that looked pretty, taking pictures with an iPhone, light-skinned, and is probably a slay queen, which now is a gold digger.
Yes, and I've been portrayed as that for a long time, and I would try to always consciously tell myself that I'm not now gonna post or not post a certain way just because people out there are going to take it a certain way. I can't do that to myself. I know myself and I'm sure of myself, and I don't feel like I need to explain myself.
Yeah.
You know? So, but it does, what would happen a lot is when men approach me, they approach me in a manner that I'm a slave queen. As in they just, yes. I would get like tons of like DMs like, hey.
Do you get dick pics?
Yeah, I do.
Such a disgusting habit. Machita, stop with the dick pics, please.
I do, and then I have, or I'll get, because there's a time when I'd always post about how I like a tricep.
Yeah.
Like, so I'd get people to send me triceps.
Or
their chests. Or like, and they'll say, yeah, Sbahle, I'm in the gym now. Look, and I'm just like, I'm like, what have I done? But, so the way men would approach me in that way and say, hey, here's, I've got 100,000 and I'm going to be in Joburg next week. Can I see you? At first, as much as it would always happen, it literally pissed me off so much. Like it would make me angry because I don't like the idea of another person thinking I've got a price tag, because I don't. There is no amount of money that could ever buy me. But then I'm someone who likes to take accountability, or perhaps also just look at things in a different way where I can stop being angry. So I then got to understand that if 80% or whichever percent of people is approached in this manner and it works, they're only doing it because they think you're one of that too,
Yeah.
you know, especially when, because of what you post and how you post it is what gives the person the, oh, person is also like that. But what I hate also is that most of it is based on your body type and your complexion.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Generally things you didn't pick.
Yeah, like ngenzeni mina manje. Like I was born this way. I didn't say good manje ngoba I'm born this way. I want to be, you know. Actually, the time when my father told me about the whole whatever you want, you come and ask for me was round about the time when the whole blessed sir thing was everywhere. Like when people were getting interviewed and stuff like that. So from that, I held it in me and stuff. So I do get portrayed in that way a lot of times, and a lot of people have been very shocked when they now see, that, oh, damn, she has a brick. And like you just said, that even though she does have a brick business, there has to be a man behind it. There's no way. Or who started it for her and then gave it to her. And I actually hate that. Another big thing for me to do or to make sure I echo in this world is I want to break the stereotype, man. I want to break the stereotype. Let's stop grouping people or assuming and, stuff like that. I am capable of being pretty, having a nice body and so on, and having the mind to start my own thing. And just as I am, so are a lot of other women. And I hate this thing of like, lona vele. No, man.
Have you ever spoken to your mom about your online brand? Because some moms tend to be very nervous because they don't hear it from you. They're probably not on Instagram.
Yeah.
They start hearing from their friends because their friends' children are, hey, nimbonile Sbahle, wife Ferram usenjani. And obviously I'm an ex akho,
not only exes, what's sad is when people are now claiming you.
Yeah.
And they literally go around like, oh, Nami. And it's like,
but that's normal, I think, when you're known. I understand. But look, truth be told, you become the first female dollar billionaire in South Africa. Every school teacher, coach, choir conductor, your neighbor, no, but sasinokubamba nayithende mase yalishukula.
Oh my God.
It's what happens. It's what happens with success. People want to attach themselves
to it.
And anything to do with failure, if you're painted in another, vele sasimbona nje washa amathende ukuthi it's just part of that. The problem is how it then manifests.
Yeah, or deal with it. But so have I ever had a conversation with my mom about my social media? No.
Never.
I don't think
she's never raised it.
Yeah. My mother knows me and knows me very well.
Yeah.
And she's not someone who, if she would hear something, would be like, Sbahle. No. She's very well aware of who her child is and very well aware of how I know myself and am sure of myself. So a lot of things that people do kind of like say or take back or and what sucks is that it then plays with your mind. There's a time in my life where I was now so conscious of what I wear.
Sure.
Or, what I post and how I post it, as innocent as it may be. It's because now I'm just like, oh, okay, I can't wear that because it makes me look like a slave queen. And I don't want to be seen as
you become imprisoned.
Of course.
You become imprisoned.
But I'm glad now that I'm at a place where it's like, angikwazi vele ukucontrol umqondo wakho ukuthi uzocabangani, and I don't have to prove anything to you. Hence why I love the whole thing of my award happening, because now it's shut up a lot of people that had their own assumptions of it, and people that even read the articles that have been written about me now, like, oh, and I'm like, yes, guys, it's possible.
Have you ever considered where your mind would be if you didn't have the parents you did? You didn't have the upbringing you had of strict school first, siyasebenza la ekhaya, and you just being self-sure, knowing what you're capable of, and you just happen to be didn't really do much, didn't sing or play sports, and here you are now, you're 19, 20, and everyone is going berserk on your social media. Do you ever consider where your mind would be in a situation like that? Because it happens to a lot of other females that are not like you.
Have I ever considered it? No. I have never. Excuse me. And maybe that's because of my reality being my reality. excuse me. There was also a time I always say, so I was actually very self-conscious for a long time. And I always explain to people that this is purely because when I grew up, there was no thick.
Yeah.
There was Sithole, no
Sithole.
Sland. And
Sbahle,
local pale. There was no right. No, there was none of that. So and the main or the mainstream image was Islander. You know, and now you're growing up, and obviously your young years are your most, you know, absorbing years.
Yeah.
So you're absorbing that, oh no, I'm the fat one that's not looked at, and that's, you know, I should wear a lot of black. I don't want to put on color. Color doesn't look good on me. Oh my God, you know. And then all of a sudden you are the ish. It literally, we can swear here, right?
Please feel free.
It fucks with your mind.
It has to.
It fucks with your mind so heavily because, no man, the guys didn't want me. What's going on now? Sending funani, you know? And apart from that, even the way you dress, now it's like, I always would cover up so much because remember, I'm the frowned upon body type. Now I'm walking around and I'm seeing everyone like me, so, you know, crop tops, everything. And it's like,
some people do surgery to look like you.
yeah, my brother always reminds me of that. He's always just like, because like I said, I grew up very self-conscious and I would never wear pants and not put something to cover my bum.
Sure.
Or just pants and a crop top. Like early years of varsity, I would definitely always throw something over and not be self-conscious and sometimes even cry about it. Like, oh, look at my big bum, I want to get rid of it. And he would be like, oh, Kim Kardashian, bayakhokha la, bakhokha imali.
I'm a PPL.
Bakhokha imali, ukuthi bafane nawe when uzokhala, you know? And then gradually it took time. I could say maybe even the past 4 or 5 years is when I started being like,
I love me and I'm perfect the way
you know,
I am.
and I like this, and that's, you know, that was the development onto the creme de la creme. Like, you know, I am the shit right now, and let me hold on to it because we don't know what's gonna happen.
So
when,
the needs to come 2030.
Yeah,
like,
yes, that's what I'm thinking about now. So while we're still here, let me own it and you know, be about it, because hey, this was shincha. To be honest, I really think it will, especially with like how things are going now. Like,
things are always changing. Dark skin is in now.
Exactly. Light skin was the in thing, you know. So, and it's just especially, I think now with all the health scares that come with the whole BBL thing, it's gonna go back to a time when skinny bitches are gonna be the ish again. And
Kim Kardashian's taken out some of her implants. Hectic.
She's like most influential person right now. The whole family is, you know. I mean, a lot of people wanted the BBLs after Kim Kardashian. It's in your face every time when you're watching the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So, yeah, man.
Sbahle, I'd like to have you back here again. I think we have so much more to talk about: business, family, and other things as well. But I mean, this is the first sit down, so I appreciate it very much.
Pleasure.
Again, look, we're doing it officially now, which maybe is the best place to put it.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you. I've seen you from a young age, Sithole. And the girl you were, and look, life happens. And there's nothing wrong with change.
Yes.
If you like pen, look, if a man wants to pay for me, I believe I'm with something, it's your life.
To be honest, sorry to cut you, but I also just want to add on that. I hate the stigma put on women that feel like, you know what, I want a man that's going to take care of me head to toe, and that's it.
Sure.
And I don't want to have a job or start a business, or who are we to say that I win urongu? No. It's her preference, and she'll probably find someone. There are men that want a woman that just wants to be home.
Yeah.
So why are we like, I honestly hate, I don't want to use the word judgment, because sometimes I feel like it's beyond that. But I hate umuntu ozenza ngcono.
Sure.
Because our situation, you're more
100%.
You don't know what made them get to that point, or made them do things the way that they did, you know. I like working because I'm cooling sevens.
Yes.
You know, omunya akufuni because they didn't. It's two different things, and that's just like not like always frown upon other things. And to be honest, it sounds good, not doing anything and someone's just giving you money all the time. That sounds good. My only thing, and this is for me, is just I have a problem with, like, if I'm in a relationship with someone and I want to get them something and it's with their money.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I want to feel like I got you something out of, like,
my money
that I worked for. And one of my favorite quotes, it's not a quote, it's a lyric from a song, but I'm taking it as a quote because I like it. Yeah. It's by Offset. Shout out to the Migos, RIP, take off. But he says, swapping my cars with my bitch, I bought her the Lambo, she got me the Wraith. That's what I want to do. And not with his money. Like, I want to be I always say that with dating, I like my man to be making more than I am.
Okay.
And I want him to be so ambitious that he keeps going because I want to keep going. I want to keep chasing behind him, type of thing. So, yeah.
It's just making me worried. What happens if you surpass him?
I don't want to surpass him, but that would never change, or I never want to make my man feel lesser than. I recently actually saw, I don't know if you saw the recent, let's talk about Gabrielle Union, how in her first marriage she cheated because she paid all the bills.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that.
Just to touch on that quickly, Gabrielle Union was married to an NFL star, something Howard.
Yeah.
And he cheated on her, she cheated on him. And speaking about it recently, she has regrets. She says that a dysfunctional relationship, marriage. Yeah. And she says at that time, because she saw her father cheating because he was paying the bills, she felt somewhat entitled, like, but I also make money. I should have the same perks as. But that's what we call toxic masculinity. And women shouldn't copy it and be like, I want to be like men, because we're all saying it's bad.
I don't agree with that at all. I'm very... I don't like when women want to compete with the man.
Sure.
I personally don't. And I say this because I feel like women don't really realize that we're actually more in control, quiet, and letting the man be the man. Way more versus when we now want to compete and say, no, na mige, ngoba wena. Small thing, like for me, because I have a businesses, and my husband also one day has businesses, we're not equal. When I come home, it's still my job to make sure that he has a meal. And, I hate the whole, because we're on the same level in terms of monetary values, that we can now also in other aspects be the same. I don't think it works like that.
I said women are children earlier. I just want to say men are also children.
Yeah.
Because we were raised by mothers, we do want women that'll feed us.
Of course.
Clean us. And you're like, yes.
Yes, of course
we are children as well in our own ways.
And you also, I wouldn't say crave, I'd almost say you need.
Yeah.
I strongly believe that that's how the whole saying also goes of, behind every great man is a great woman. It's because there's a great woman there making sure that you're good.
Yeah.
And I don't think women should feel that, that makes us lesser than, because now we have to take care of him.
Sure.
He's taking care of a lot of things too, as he should as a man,
Yeah.
And there's a lot.
So to finish off, I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of the fact that even though you can change, that you chose not to, and you're still the girl that we remember, still striving, still standing on stages, whether it's online stages or business stages, achieving awards. I can't even wish you greatness because I think it's going to happen. You've got a very solid foundation from your upbringing and even mentally. And I hope you keep it strong. And for me personally, especially because I've got two girls, African culture, I'm very excited when I meet women that can be role models for dynamic women. Not just pretty, but also it's like, so you can pick any part of Sbahle you want to be, or all the parts. And when I meet dynamic women like that, I get very excited. So
thank you.
Congrats, I'm proud of you, and keep it going.
Thank you.
And please come back.
I will.
Thank you.
I will. Thanks.